Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let us start our class by Kitab Al-Fatiha. Bismillah. Alright. First of all, I would like to say sorry. I couldn't attend class tomorrow because I have to attend a course. It is a tight course, like introduction course for the IIUM stuff. I was supposed to join the course for a long time ago because I've been teaching in the IIUM for almost 4 years. Alright, but then because I was busy, and then I don't have the opportunity to attend the course, then they make it compulsory for me. So here I am. Alright. Okay. Today I'm going to explain a little bit on some focus for teaching thinking. Most of this thinking course is actually explaining more on critical thinking and creative thinking. However, thinking in general, it consists of these six factors. The first one is thinking about thinking, or metacognition. Alright. Secondly is critical thinking. We're going to do a lot of this throughout this semester. Creative thinking as well. We're going to look into the Edward de Bono lateral thinking and how to solve a problem. Problem solving and decision making. Core thinking skill. Okay. Actually, I would like to touch a little bit on this, but before that, we need to know what is a core thinking skill. My questions there is, what is it, or what are they? In my opinions, if you are familiar with Bloom taxonomy, okay, Bloom taxonomy, I think, has a 7 or 6 level of thinking. Start with remembering, lowest one, and the most further up is synthesis. Alright, so this is basically a core thinking skills that happens every day. I just recently read when I reflecting on Bloom taxonomy, he actually put memorization or remembering, the skill of thinking skill from remembering, is the lowest from the Bloom taxonomy. Actually, when I read more about thinking skill or thinking process, okay, the synthesis, the evaluation, the capabilities to make analogy is actually dependent so much on remembering. So if come a person and explain to you that remembering is not important, no, basically that's wrong. Remembering is still important, except that in terms of the hierarchy, it does not sit in it does not situate in a top level of a Bloom taxonomy, right? And then we have the understanding the role of the content knowledge, right? This is based on a Conway. So Conway actually provide 6 focus when it comes to teaching thinking. Okay, however, understanding thinking approaches, basically students need to be able to understand, explain, and evaluate their own thinking and learning. Okay, the fact that you are able to evaluate your own thinking and learning, that is called as a metacognition process, right? And then what is actually our ultimate goal for thinking? In my opinion, our ultimate goal for thinking is the fact that we can generate understanding, boleh membentuk kefahaman for the information gathering, and then after we generate understanding, we gather the informations, and then we are able to make a good decision, okay, a good or the best decision, okay, based on these outcomes. Alright, that is basically the ultimate goal of thinking. And And the approaches of thinking, teachers should be able to help your student to induce any kind of a targeted mental activity. Let's say, for example, for the 7-year-old kid in the kindergarten, okay, you want to teach the different types of colors that exist in a rainbow, for example. It has 7 colors, right? So what are the strategies that you're going to use so that the students aware that there are 7 kind of colors in a rainbow? Okay, mungkin ada setengah guru yang akan memberi satu formula RYGBIV, ROYGBIV, right? Red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, something like that, alright? Or perhaps mungkin ada setengah cikgu yang try to start with a brainstorming among the kids. Ataupun some other teachers might prefer to do the experiment first so that the students can explore by themselves. Perhaps try to create a rainbow, okay, dalam small scale. Contoh macam ambil what they call it, bring the students to the padang and then gunakan pancuran air untuk membentuk pelangi. Okay, itu antara kaedah-kaedah yang digunakan oleh kaedah-kaedah perbeza yang digunakan oleh guru to induce thinking, of course with different kind of activities, right? Okay, now let us look at the psychological perspective on teaching thinking. Alright. Basically, psychologists have tried to find ways on how to improve educational attainment, pencapaian pendidikan. Jadi kaedah yang digunakan oleh psychologists usually through observing learners and try to solve problems. Alright. So all of this basically involve teaching thinking courses or classes. Alright. And teaching thinking actually can help in terms of social inclusion. For example, okay, sebagai contohnya social inclusion ni, you give the opportunity for the kids to improve in terms of their social hierarchy. Contohnya, ada pelajar-pelajar miskin yang di kampung, okay, di pedalaman. You brought them to schools, to good schools dekat bandar, so that they are being exposed. Okay, this example of the social inclusions. Jadi bagaimana teaching thinking tu can improve social inclusions? Okay, apabila seorang manusia diberi kemahiran berfikir ataupun mempunyai kemahiran berfikir, dengan kemahiran berfikir, kebolehan beliau to make a good decision, a critical decision that actually can help to improve in terms of dia punya pencapaian dalam hidup. Okay, most of the mistakes that you do in life basically is based because of our bad decision. Mungkin waktu sekolah dulu you salah pilih kawan to the extent that due to having bad friends menyebabkan you tak study, thus you punya SPM tak cemerlang yang sepatutnya you boleh dapat. Perhaps I'm talking about perhaps mungkin dengan if you were scoring good in SPM, perhaps mungkin you can choose courses yang boleh improve ataupun boleh meningkatkan you punya future tasks, tapi disebabkan oleh decision you untuk mempunyai kawan yang bad friends that actually menyebabkan you little bit slow dalam mencapai target ataupun goals, your life goals. Alright. So regardless of that, okay, so Target 1996, okay, this is an old theory, old model. He said that there are 6 approaches for mind modeling. Starts with logic, and then the rules, concepts. We already discussed about concepts a little bit. Analogies, images, and neural connections. Alright. This is basically, they call it how our brain enhance. Okay, our capabilities of thinking enhance melalui perkara-perkara berikut, melalui logic, melalui rules, concepts, analogies, images, and then neural connections. Okay, I will explain a little bit on that, on these sticks. Okay, first of all, I would like you to take test on 123test.com and then /logical reasoning test. Take like 10 minutes and then let us see your score. You don't have to tell me apa yang you dapat. Just ni ambil test sendiri-sendiri, so that you will know how far you are, even though this test might not be precise, might not exactly measure the real logic that you have in you, but at least you give a try. Tengok macam mana, how do you perform, and then you come and report me during the class. Kita bincang. Okay. Logic basically is deductive. Okay, deductive is a logical inference of two basic types from a premise to a conclusion. So basically, if the premise are true, then the conclusion is true. Okay, sebagai contohnya, Socrates is a man and all men are mortal. Thus, Socrates is mortal. Okay, the premise is true, Socrates is a man. Okay, and all men are mortal, Socrates is mortal. Same goes whenever Ben goes, Sam goes whenever Ben goes, and Ben went to library. So it means that Sam also goes to library. Alright, so there are many examples of logic. You can as well do the test. Okay, for example, you type logic test and then try to answer that. See how you get the score. And logic basically is the base of the maths. It's based on the rationality, it's based on the reasoning. And then I would like you to find information on inductive. How does deductions differs from induction? Alright, we're talking about deductive should have a premise and a conclusions. Alright, but what about induction? I'd like you to give examples on that. Alright, then we have rules. Rules here is not a regulations, but it means rules that are connected to logic. For example, if you pass 40 thinking classes, then you graduate with a thinking certificate degree. Notice the word if and then there. Rules are related to how humans do to prove logic within a structure so that a computer or a program can do more. That's why you nampak ada if and then there. Kalau you nampak, if you are familiar with programming as well, programming use lots of logic and lots of rules. Okay, and then kalau you tengok pada computer itself actually is the best replication of human mind. It start from the logic. Faham maths. If, then, kalau dia makan nasi, maknanya dia manusia, for example. Of course, computer does not recognize kalau dia makan nasi. I'm talking about words to words, but other language, they call it programming language, lebih kepada bentuk number or maths, it's mathematical. Alright, that's in terms of rules. And then rules also represent strategic informations of what you need to do. This again related to computer. If you want to go home, you need to go to bus station. Find a ticket counter, buy one ticket, then you catch a bus. If you want to go home, station A. Then you need to go to bus station C. And then D, find a ticket counter. Then E, buy one ticket. Then final product. Then you can catch a bus. That's how you get home. Dia ada dia punya aturan dia. A, B, C, and D. The steps by steps. Okay, so that is how the brain, how the computers work, and how the computer works actually replicate how our mind works. To the extent that if you notice, okay, if you're familiar with chess, I don't know whether you play chess or not, but I used to play chess before. Even now, sometimes I play chess. Kalau kita main chess, okay, kita basically ada steps by steps, ada strategi yang perlu diambil. Kalau kita gerak ke sini, buah bidak apa yang akan dimakan? Betul tak? So the same thing with computer. For chess program, the programmer try to think of the possibilities of our steps. Langkah-langkah yang manusia akan ambil, dia akan counter dengan berapa ribu steps lagi. You understand that? So that's why it's very difficult for us to defeat a chess program yang dah dibuat direka, sebab dia calculate all the possibilities of the move that you might take, dan dia counter balik. Faham Alright. And then we have a concepts. We already discussed this the first week, and Alhamdulillah, you guys were superb. You managed to answer it very well. Okay, concepts are defined as representations of entities or situations. It is innate and purely in minds. Okay, exists and can be explained by combining stereotypes, not definitions, because it's very defined. It's very difficult for you to put into definitions. We already discussed this last week. Saya kasih contoh banyak. Contohnya, I asked you how to define concepts of kejahatan, for example, right? Then you need to define first, and it's very difficult. Then you give examples based on something that is attached to your sensory. When it is attached to your sensory, then you can actually see it, right? You can actually understand it a little bit. Alright. Okay, I give you an example here. Let's say you want to hire someone for your school needs. However, you will end up hiring someone due to your boss conceptual ideas of the right kind of employee. You actually have this kind of concept that you want to hire someone, but because of your boss actually do not have the same concept that you have based on your school needs, so you punya decision tu stuck. Faham? Alright. Another example try to give so that you can understand a little bit more on concept. Contoh macam, you have to think of I'm talking about how the concept is being built. For example, okay, let's say that you're observing someone that run very fast. Not you, actually, a small kid, dia tak pandai lagi, he does not develop dia punya vocabs like adult, so still learning. And then one day he went to the field, he goes to the field, dia nampak ada budak lari laju kan. Of course, sebagai budak kecil dia tak tahu budak ni lari laju, ada yang lari pelan. He can see ada boys yang boleh lari laju, ada boys yang main kejar-kejar dengan dia yang lari pelan, asyik kena tangkap kan. Okay, jadi dia tak, he actually does not have a he knows it happened, he knows because he can see ada budak yang lari laju, ada budak yang lari pelan, but cannot really explain it. So dia akan start menceritakan. Okay, dia balik rumah, dia cerita kepada ayah dia kata ada yang ni lari laju, yang ni lari pelan. Lepas tu, and then ayah dia kata, basically yang lari laju tu dia ada capability untuk memecut or sprinting. Then you see, the dad actually introduced the concept of memecut, pecutan, and sprinting with more examples. You understand that can actually make the kids see. The kids actually already see, dia nampak yang larian laju tu dengan larian pelan, tapi the dad at home explain more. Okay, alright. But if you and that's why I wrote there, if you're confused, replace concept with schemes in your mind. Schema. Okay. And others, and some of the opinions said that even even concepts. You don't have to teach concept because it is in your schemata. Your brain actually can relate the concepts together. It is innate. Faham? Alright. Another thing that I would like to give example. This happened when I was in the US as well. One day, my friends from Lithuania asked me a question related to the jinn. We actually explained. We had the discussion about jinn, G-I-N, genie. Okay, all right. So he asked me, dia tanya saya, dia kata, dekat Malaysia ada tak hantu yang rambut panjang, perempuan, okay, female, gender female, rambut panjang, suka mengilai, okay, ada taring, suka hisap darah lelaki. Alright. Dan apa nama dia? Okay. And then saya katalah, oh, dekat Malaysia nama dia, that particular ghost or jinn name is Lang Sui. Okay. Lepas tu, and then, okay, dia kata, oh, dekat Lithuania ada nama lain. But of course, I could not remember exactly what's the name of this particular jinn. And then dekat Indonesia dipanggil Sundel Bolong. Okay, let me type here so that you can see. Dipanggil Sundel Bolong. And then in the US, it's called a Banshee. Kriteria dia sama. Okay, so kawan saya dekat Lithuania. Okay, in Lithuania, it's in Europe. It has a different name with a similar characteristics. Ada taring, rambut panjang, suka mengilai, suka hisap darah lelaki. Alright. Ataupun Lang Sui atau Pontianak. Cuma perbezaan karakter yang different compared to, I do not know, maybe it has that kind of character dekat Indonesia ataupun dekat Europe. Saya pernah diberitahu oleh kawan saya, if the Lang Sui likes you, it's gonna smells good. That's why kita ada movie Harum Sundal Malam. Okay, but still you can see the similarities. Sundel Bolong, Sundel in bahasa Melayunya Sundal. Alright. Okay. If he doesn't like you, if she doesn't like you, then she smells bad. Itu yang kawan saya ceritakan waktu dia mengembara dalam hutan. Okay. So and then from that discussion, I reach a conclusion. So jin ni basically dia ada bangsa dia, ada similar karakteristik, ada bangsa dia, sama macam manusia. Okay, sifat orang Melayu ni sifat dia, sifat Chinese ni sifat dia, Indian ni sifat dia. Ada kategori in terms of that. Itu from the discussion lah. Alright. Okay. Let's move on to analogies. Okay, these analogies is types of argument, complicated and lengthy. Okay, and points out similarities between two things. Flamingo is a bird as grizzly to a bear. He is as hungry as horse. Okay. Okay, the first one. Flamingo is a bird as grizzly to a bear. Adakah this is an analogy or not? Okay. He is as hungry as a horse. Is this analogy or not? What strings are to a guitar, love is to life. Is this analogy or not? Her voice was music to his ears. Does it compare between two things? Okay. Does it has a similarities between the two things? Okay. Finding a good man, okay, is like finding a needle in a haystack. Is a good analogy. Is it a good analogy or not? Alright. Explaining a joke is like dissecting a frog. You understand it better, but the frog dies in the process. The movie was a roller coaster ride of emotions. Okay, I'll let you figure out. Right? Because the analogies basically is comparisons between the two things. Okay, and human actually do lots of analogy. Alright. Regardless of how interesting analogy is, sometimes if you use analogical thinking in solving problem can be a backfire. Why is that? Because you are equate something with a similar elements between the two things, and perhaps the two things are not the same, are not similar at all. For example, let's say I give you two assignments, all right, but you do both of the assignments using the same approach. At the end, it might backfire. You might fail because the second one require totally different solutions, novel solutions compared to the first one. Perhaps the first assignment more on introductions, the second one more on critical reasoning that I want you to use. Okay, so both of them might not have similarity. Okay. Okay, my next question is, what are the possible learning outcomes you can get by using analogous thinking? Apa yang boleh dapat? Okay, I would like you to think of that as well. Okay, regardless of that, the structure is there. Coming back to the two assignments. Even though the requirements might be different from the first one, but at least you have some structures, rules and concepts about these two assignments. Okay, cuma differences tu you kena based on what your professors requires you to do. Alright. Okay, and this is images. Okay, I would like to ask you questions. What is imagery contribution to your decision making? And how do you reach for a conclusion? Okay, what is imagery contribution to your decision making? Does our decision making involve imagery? Okay, and how do you use imagery to reach for a conclusions? This is a little bit difficult questions, but I would like you to think of that. What is imagery contribution to your decision making, and how do you reach for a conclusion? Anyway, regardless of that, okay, this is related to the neural, to the nerve, to your nerve. This is called dendrites. Okay, if you notice, Taggart say there are 6 approaches to mind modeling. First, logic, rules, concepts, analogies, images, and lastly, neural connections. Alright, for the neural connections, I would like to emphasize on this dendrite. I would like you to look at this dendrite. Okay, this is dendrite. You punya nerve, saraf. Okay, I would like you to read further on this. Dendrites or memorization, or then the effects of memorizations to dendrites or to the understanding. My teachers used to explain to me, may Allah forgive him, even though he's not Muslim, right? I don't know whether he's still alive or dead. Okay, regardless of that, ni you punya dendrites berkaitan dengan you punya saraf. Okay, this is the dendrites. The dendrites actually connects between the saraf. Okay, dibentuk satu network dalam you punya brain. You have a billions of saraf, nerve in your system. Okay, based on my understanding, katakanlah you menghafal ayat Quran. May Allah make your kids penghafaz Al-Quran, orang yang menjaga Al-Quran. Alright, setiap kali you memorize ayat Quran, okay, this myelin, if I'm not mistaken, okay, I'd like you to go further, try to check it. Dia akan bertambah. Katakanlah you hafal surah Al-Fatihah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Okay, dia akan become thicker. The more you repeat, the more it becomes thick, to the extent that they akan connected to each of other saraf. This dendrites connect to other saraf, they can become thick. So semakin banyak you repeat, katakanlah proses memorization ataupun understanding, ataupun the way that you understand is one thing, tapi one day someone approach you, explain the concept little bit different, and you understand it differently. Jadi dia punya saraf ni, dia punya the myelin sheath ni, dia makin tebal. You understand that? So the fact that regardless of whatever happens to you, you still akan remember Al-Fatihah, you still remember your mom, because with your sensory, okay, you tengok tiap hari, you dengar you punya suara your mom everyday, dia akan jadikan dia thick, tebal. You understand? Okay, same thing with ayat Quran. Sebab tu ada orang yang melihat, menghafal dengan kaedah mendengar, ataupun recently I was discussing with one of the Al-Hafiziyah, Dr. Nick Saiful, about memorization. He said ada kaedah yang dikatakan mengamalkan apa ayat yang dihafal. Dan saya tanyalah, amalkan macam mana kan? Bila you hafal kan? Dia kata buat. Dia kata buat contoh macam ayat berkaitan dengan ayat ambil wuduk kan, basuh tangan, basuh kepala, apa semua kan. The fact that if kalau kita buat waktu kita menghafal ayat tersebut, kita akan jadi lebih ingat. This common sense basically. Alright, so that's basically for week 2 and week 3 for you to think of. I will continue more after this, but okay, so so please answer this question. What is imagery contribution to your decision making? How do you reach for a conclusion based on these imagery contributions? Alright, so let's finish our class with surah Al-Asr and tasbih kifrah, and I will continue soon dengan tajuk lain. Alright, subhanallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.